Okay, this is, ouch, number 5. Um, I found my public board. It's called Exposed Cults. Oh, I got it over here. There you go. On Yuku. And I'll just put a link to the info below. And I already have it open over here. Wednesday, January 7th. Oh, that's today. Okay, so this article, Sunday, December 27th, 92, from the Seattle Times, about the ancient cults, or, well, their cult. And remember in the last video I mentioned about the food? Just after 14 minutes on the last one, I was talking about how they did something wrong, and there was another place I mentioned about the pillow. If you covet your friend's pillow, you'll get food ration back. Or you get your rationed. See here, like the ancient Essenes, the Iowa community of about 60 people, has a leader called a teacher of righteousness. They share all property communally and follow a strict penal code that assesses penalties, such as 30 days of lower food rations for a public display of anger. And then say a slang word, and for 4 days you must put back a quarter of the food served to you at mealtime. Show jealousy of another person's pillows. The penalty is 30 days. And this is why John's son was doing all that running off from up there to Graceland. And I guess he could have gone to either one of his grandparents. And I think he was recycling cans. And he'd get the money and he'd go play some games. I mean, can you blame the kid, though? You do all that work and smack your thumb with a hammer and say the D word. Next thing you know, you're starving because you have to put some food back. For a slang word. Ugh. So I was feeding them like crazy. Okay. My family's been a big believer in food for as long as I can remember. We'd always have the big dinners, which I haven't been to for a long time. Years. And food was just something that we never did without. Not the bigger group of the family itself, but also our closer mom, dad, sister Carol, and me. We did a lot of work in the gardens, but we had food, you know. And I didn't have a lot of great times either. Um, since I'm on that topic, we would get to go on our vacation every year, which was like the greatest thing since sliced bread, to go out in the woods and camp. And back then it was state parks for us. And then later on, Mom got the cabin at the lake, and then it was 5-star camping clubs that she would get memberships to. Like there's one just pretty close, like within an hour and 45 minutes of here at Oak Grove, called Paradise Lake Camping Club. We had a membership there. And then we had one, uh, Treasure Lake, Branson, and 2 or 3 other ones around there at different times that they would either belly up and she would trade them off, or, the company would just dissolve, go broke, or change names, whichever. There was like Diamond Harbor and Castle View Lake Estates. There was another one in there somehow, but I don't remember. But I do know we had those two at the one time. The other ones, they came and went, you know. And so, we also took the kids there. And if we didn't go along, they would just go with my mom and dad. Or at least the girl did. You know, to get away from it all for at least a night or two. Or to the cabin. And then mom had a story to tell me a couple times. And one of them was that she wanted to go down to the dock by herself at night on a weekend. Where all mom said these old drunk fishermen were always down there because the marina was close. And mom said, no, you're not going to do that. Not going to have you do that at all. So she got mad at mom then. And another time she got mad was we had all gone down because dad needed some styrofoam blocks, float blocks, to put back up underneath the docks because the weather got them, or may have been when they were working on the dam down there. And so the guys were going to be in the water. And I think Karen spent the night with her, and that was the night of the burnt hot dog, but that'll be the next story. Um, we got down there that morning, drove down early, and Karen was already there. And mom fixed, of course, a big, nice breakfast. And there was a little piece of ham left. And mom offered it to the guys, knowing that they were going to spend an awful lot of energy that morning in that water, wrestling with that dog to get those floats underneath there. Because those have to be pushed down and then brought back up underneath, or it had to be lifted. The dog, you know, all that structure lifted, which would be a big old chore if you asked me. So they were going to get the extra food if they wanted it. Well, then the girl got mad because she wanted it. And my mom said she told her, no, Kieran, let's let the guys decide who's going to have it. You're not going to be this busy today that you're going to need all that little bit of extra energy or whatever it was. It may have been a bigger piece of ham than what I'm thinking, but whatever. The point is she got mad, and then the night, a different night, um, one of the hot dogs or hamburgers or something, you know how they do, they'll sometimes slip off and go down in between and fall on the briquettes. Well, my mother hasn't got a problem with it. I never had a problem with it. She picked it back up, brushed it off, or, you know, knocked the dust off of it, and somebody was going to eat it. Well, the girl didn't want it. I don't like burnt hot dogs. Well, mom said, okay, I'll put it in here in the icebox, and we'll see about it later. Well, a little while later, she was after that hot dog. She had gotten hungry, and then she wanted it, you see. She just wanted to put up a fuss about something so stupid as a hot dog or hamburger. I think it was a hot dog. Sometimes if she had them, she'd cook both, but just stupid stuff like that. And another time it was that she was following my dad all around while he was mowing. Because most of the time when we get down there, that's the main thing we needed to do, was mow the property that the house sat on and the lot next door. And it pretty much took all evening after dinner until dark, and then put the stuff away, and if it wasn't done, the next morning we'd have to hit it again, get it done. If it wasn't mowing, it was raking leaves and burning in that ditch out front, but You do what you gotta do, you know. And she went with him and she was following Dad around, and Mom didn't want her to get hurt, so she made her go sit down on the patio. And she didn't like that. I'll never figure this out. Never in a million years. You know, you're talking about someone who supposedly had a gripe with a so-called rapist, who didn't make reports on the rapist, and didn't make any reports until after the other person, a female in the same household, made a report on her. So I view it more like it was a revenge report. Well, I'll get you, you report me and get the cops over here to talk to me. Oh, well, I could do that too. But see, she never did call directly. And we left her alone all those times in the house when we go to the base. And she could have used that phone. And you know she knew how to use that phone. She had grandma that lived in town, you know, and they supposedly had a phone at that one house that was up there on that property. Some 500 some acres, 565 acres. Good, pretty good piece of property. But the one had electricity and a phone. I guess that was for appearances. You know, family services came and gotta show them the good stuff. Keep the yucky stuff hid behind the barn. Then I find out through my searching that their pastor made national news because he didn't want to wear his ankle tracker, his ankle surveillance. Smith was his last name. I'll see if I can QR. Shoot. Well, I'll have to look for it before I start the next one, or I can pause this. Okay. I found this one. This one on the left is Scott Smith. Pastor Scott Smith. See here. And then that's the Livingston. Dissatisfied Mormons. The one I was looking for. Wait a minute. What paper was this? D Courier. Here. The Prescott Courier. December 4, 1992. The one I was looking for was about him in national news. This Scott Smith guy. He didn't want to wear his ankle bracelet. AKA ankle tracker, surveillance bracelet. And there was national news about that. But see, he had been accused by some of the young ladies up there at the commune of whatever it was. Now I want to find that article. And she never mentioned what went on. And just a reminder, like I said in an earlier video, she was capable of making a report when she was 5 or 6 or 7, yet at 13, 14, or 15, this capability escapes her, yet she can make reports on me to her mother. That does not add up. I'm sorry to say, in my shock and ignorance, these small facts took a while to come together in my mind. We'll talk more in a few.